Hi guys, I'm here to share another design team project for KraftSupplies4u, and this will be my first project for the month of April. I know it's hard to believe it's April already, but it is. So I'm going to show you guys some of the items from the shop that I used. So this is the first thing that I used, is this mauve colored lace right here. And if you guys watched my unboxing of my design team package, you would have saw this. It's new. So I used some of that. I used some of these flowers. Real pretty. Then I used some of these little ones. Then I used some of these. And then some of these little white paper flowers. And then some of this white braided trim. And then I used some of this new pearl trim. And I actually was going to use the full length of this, the width of it. And then I decided to cut it in half. So I originally had, this was how long of a piece that I needed. But I ended up just cutting it in half. So this is the other half of it. So you can see, super easy to cut it. So I used some of that, so pretty. And what I created is this little book. And I think it came out super cute. I've been wanting to make something like this for a while. And I actually had some extra felt pieces laying around. And so I've been having an idea to make a little book out of one of them. So what I did was I took the sheet. Now you know how you could buy them in like it's like 8 by 10 or 9 by 12 or something like that size. So I originally folded it in half, like the long way. So then the width part, the longer part, would end up being here. So when you could fold it again and it would be like a book. So I folded that felt in half, glued around the edges to make it stay. So it was like long like this, and then folded it like it would be open like a book. I'll explain that to you guys in a minute. But I did take a whole sheet of white felt, and that's what the base of this is. And I did want it to show through because I wanted this project to be white and like the mauve color. So once I had glued my felt together, I added this trim. Actually, I did forget to show you guys this one. And this is like the perfect trim for something like this because you can see it's super wide. It's like really wide. It's perfect, and actually it was kind of long. But I used that one for like the base part. And then, well actually, let me rewind here for a second. I took this trim, which is this one right here, and I put a piece down because I did want some color to be popping through, but not too much, like as bright as this, because I just wanted it a little bit to kind of show through. So it kind of got muted down a little bit with the this one right here. So I had put that down, and then on top of that I added that white, or it's a little bit off-white trim. And then on top of that I added this braided trim right here all around the edges on the outside and on the inside. So this is what I did to the back. I kept it kind of simple because this is the side that lays flat. So for this, I put these here to cover up where I glued on my little pieces to tie it together. So I just had taken one of these flowers and I cut out the middle stamens, and then I added one of these little silk roses from the shop and just kind of smushed it to where it would be pretty flat, you know, so it could lay flat. And then so that's like all I did to the back, but this is like what the front looks like without all the extra flowers. So once I did that, and then this is where I added this pearl trim. And like I said, originally I was going to have it as one full piece like this, but I kind of didn't want that many pearls, so I ended up cutting it in half and then just using a strip like this. This is the exact same size, it's just the other half. And I kind of like the look that it has with a little bit less. I think it gives it a nice pretty touch. So I just had glued that all the way around. And how I did this was I took the edge like right here, and then I just added a little tiny bit of hot glue and then glued it down. And then once that was secure, I just went through, like I would turn it over, and like every 2 to 3 rows I would just add a little strip of hot glue, just a tiny bit, because you don't want it all popping through and looking messy. So I mean, it's a little time consuming, but it's okay. So I would add some glue and then flip it over, kind of, you know, make sure it was down, then flip it back over, you know, count 2 or 3 rows, add some more glue, then flip it back over, and then just until the whole thing was secure. So that's how I did that. And then for my flowers, all these are from the shop, and I added right here another one of these, and again I cut the stamens out of the middle. And then this flower is from the shop, but it's just one I had left over from a previous project, so I glued that to the middle of it because I wanted to add a little bit more touch of white right here, just so it wasn't so much like of the mauve color. So I just glued that down in the middle, and then I added these 2 flowers, and I just left those as they come. You can see they're really pretty. So I added one here and here. And then, like I tell you guys all the time, I save all my scraps. So I had these white leaves left over from a previous project, and I just throw them back in my drawer. So I had put one here, here, and here, and glued those down. And then tucked in, like here, there's 4 of these flowers right here. There's 4 of those. So there's one here, and then 2 here. And then I wanted to add just a little bit more white, so I went in and got some of these paper flowers and just tucked those in there. And then I didn't want to have too big of a flower cluster, so I kind of just left it at that. Before I had put those down though, I added this piece of trim, and I just had a piece probably about that long left over. So I put it here, but really all you can see now is just like here on the edges or the corners. There's a little bit popping through, but I did have that all the way across. This is a real pretty trim right here. So I had put that down and then did my flowers. And what I did for my little tie here was, of course, you know, I wanted everything to coordinate, and I didn't want the ties to be this wide. So what I did was I took this trim right here and just cut it in half. And I did a length about like as like wide around as the book. I just cut a piece that long and then cut it in half, and then so it was about that wide, and then I just kind of made a little thing like that, glued it down on each side. So there's one here, there's one here, and then I tied it, and it makes a really pretty closure, matches really well. And then so yeah, the back is, I showed you guys that. So when you open it up, I did it kind of simple, but this is what the inside looks like. So again, I took the same trim. This is the trim that's here and here. I made it, well, I put the same wide trim. I laid it all across the middle or in the inside, and it's on the outside. And again, I added some of the braided trim. And then I put this trim down because I wanted to have like a little pocket on each side so you can put stuff in. And then so I put that down. I went all around it with this braided trim, and then a piece down the middle for one, just to kind of make it look like 2 separate pages, and also to secure this down, or else it would have been one wide pocket and it wouldn't be like as sturdy. Because see how, you know, you have a area to put stuff in, but it's still a little bit snug. If there wasn't something here, this would be too wide, like to come open, and I didn't like that. So I went ahead and put another strip of that down the middle to secure this, so now there's two like individual pockets as opposed to one big one. And then this trim right here is the same one that I used here on the front. This was like the last piece that I had, so I did enough to cover here, and then there was a tiny bit, so I just put one right here, and then to match it I just used this trim, which is also from the shop, and then took a little piece and added it here to the bottom. So it's the same on both sides, but the trims are just kind of reversed. So there's the small, and then the big one, and then the small, and then the big one, just to give it a little more like design on the pocket, so it wasn't just like a plain pocket. I wanted to add something cutesy to it, so I put that there. And then I left this trim right here a little bit showing, and then I left this showing too, just to give it a nice little extra decorative detail. I thought it was cute to have the trim popping out like that. So you can just put some goodies in here, and you just store them in there. And then I just take the little stringies here, and then tie it back up, and then you just take the little things, and because they kind of get small again when you tie it, so I like it to be all fluffy and cute, so I just open those back up so it looks nice and full. And then there's your little tie. So this is the little book that I created. I think it's super cute. Like I said, I've been wanting to do these, or one of these, something similar to this for a while. So finally I can check that off my list, because I have like a long list of things that I want to try. But this is what I made. I think it's super cute. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys want me to do another one of these, like in a tutorial or something, I can show you guys that. Just let me know. Make sure you guys check out the items in the shop. There's a bunch of new stuff, and as you can see, I used a bunch of new stuff on here, and there's like tons more than just what I've showed you. But it's all super cute. So I will have the link to that in the description box below. So make sure you guys check it out. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!